Hello and welcome to our today's webinar. My name is Sana Ogunusi and I will be your host for the webinar. Today's webinar is called Easy Redmine Help Desk 2019. We'll be looking at help desk settings, connecting the mailbox, project settings, and the dashboard. One thing I would like to mention over here is that we won't be looking at cron settings. So cron must be already configured in order for the help desk to function. If you want to find out more about cron settings, simply go to our technical documentation on our website or knowledge base, and you will find there more about the cron settings. If at any point during the webinar you have any questions, please feel free to type it in the Q&A tool that is in the toolbar for this webinar, and I will get to your questions throughout the webinar or at the end of the webinar. So let's start the webinar itself. Today we will be we'll be using some terms, some terminology, such as we'll be talking about mailboxes. So if I mention the word mailbox, by that I mean an email address connected to Easy Redmine from which received emails are processed into our help desk tickets. Ticket is a task in our help desk project. Then help desk project is the project under which the tasks are created. Domain is the second part of email address. So that's connected with the mailbox. And that's probably for the main terms. So before we start setting up and configuring our Easy Redmine help desk, we have to decide on the structure of the help desk project. You can create a completely new help desk project, and the way you structure it pretty much depends on whether you want to have a single project for all tickets or you want to have several projects for different mailboxes, because you might be getting tickets to different mailboxes. And that can, for instance, happen if you have several products or services that you offer. So you can have that, or you can have also different projects for different clients. So you can have clients who paid for like higher level support, like priority support. You can have a special project for them as well. So this is something that you need to think about before you start. So if you are only going to have one project which gathers email from a single mailbox, then it's pretty easy because all emails will be sent to the mailbox within one project. Or you can have one mailbox and more help desk projects, or you can have more mailboxes. And then you can also have more mailboxes where like each mailbox would be for a single product, and then on top of that you can also have, or under those projects you can actually have special projects for special clients. So first of all, let's have a look on how to connect a mailbox to Easy Redmine. So now we are getting to the point where we can actually look at the setup of help desk. So to have Easy Redmine process mailboxes, they need to be connected to Easy Redmine. And to do that, we will go to our administration, which you access through menu more, and then left bottom administration. This place is only available for people who are admins within the system. Usually it's the person who have set up the Easy Redmine application, and then any other person you can give them the right as well. So under administration, we will look for help desk, which is at the bottom under extensions. Then over here, we click on all mailboxes and add a mailbox. When adding a new mailbox, you simply need to enter valid credentials for your mailbox, and then such as the host, port. For a host, it can be IMAP, my company, whatever your company name, .com, port. This is just an example, okay? Then user, so this is an example again. Just say that your company, you would like my company, you would replace it with the name of your company, and then password. And then you check whether you want to use SSL authentication, and then you click on test. Let's have a look at these components, at these attributes that we have here on top of that. So if the checkbox active is ticked, it means that mailbox is scanned regularly by Redmine for new unread messages. If it would be unticked, so we basically want it to be ticked, because once we untick it, Redmine doesn't check the mailbox, but you can keep the mailbox in Redmine for possible future use. So you will untick it in case, for instance, you know you are going to use it in future, but you don't want to use it yet. So like when you are doing the settings, but you don't want to start running it yet. Or if you already used it, but at some point you don't need it anymore, so you untick it. So we want to keep it active. Then over here, we have the user different sender. So when a user on the mail server is not the same as mailbox, so then you enter here a valid mailbox, which is represented by the user. Folders to read. So if you want Redmine to only check certain folders for unread emails, you will type it in there. In success move to means that if an email is processed correctly by Redmine, meaning from that particular email, a task has been created. A task has been created, so then it will be moved there. And in failure, move to if an email is processed incorrectly, meaning a task was not created as a result of that email, it will be moved to that particular folder. So after you test the connection, we just add the mailbox. So you just have to make sure that once you test it, that it's working fine. Let's see if we already, yeah. So I will show you one that we already have here set up. So we have a couple. So if you are in the trial version, you can see that there's a couple of mailboxes. And now when we set up, when we have added the mailbox, we want to in the settings, we want to set up the frequency of mailbox scanning. How often do we check does Redmine check that particular mailbox? To do so, we click on the settings, and again, settings over here. So now we are back to the mailbox settings, but now we have some additional settings that we can see over here. By default, the frequency of scanning is set to 5 minutes, but it's usually, we recommend like every 10 minutes. Because it depends on how many mailboxes you have. So if you have many mailboxes that you have connected to Redmine, this task may take longer time and overload your server if the frequency is too often. So then it would slow down the whole application. So it really depends. If you have 1 or 2, you can leave it on 5. If you have more than that, we suggest you put it to 10. So that's for the for the frequency over here, as you can see, you have the frequency, and then the other settings, they remain the same, what we already had a look at earlier. So now let's move on to the project configuration, because we have already, so we added the mailbox, we created the settings for the mailbox, which is mainly how often the mailbox should be checked. And now, so once the mailbox is connected and scanned by Redmine, we need to set where the tickets actually should be created. So we need to first we need to have a project, and that project has to be connected to HelpDesk. Without that, tickets cannot be created because every task requires a project. So it really depends. As I said, this is something that you have to think about before creating the projects, what structure you want. And so first of all, we can add a project. Let's now move on to our help desk. To access help desk, we click on menu more and help desk. And we want to see here all projects that are on the help desk. So right now we have two projects. One is called help desk and one is called special clients projects, which is what I was mentioning when I was talking about the structure of these projects. You can also see that if you actually add a new mailbox, it'll show an alert over here that you don't have, that though you have added a mailbox, you still need to create or add it to a project. Over here, so if we don't have a project under our help desk yet, we would click on add a project. And we would create a new help desk project. So you can choose from existing projects. So even if we, like, for instance, add a sample project over there, then we would create, choose a default mailbox for this particular project. So since I just mentioned that we have this mailbox that haven't been added to a project, we can use it for now. Then we choose the tracker assigning. We have some more settings that we can have a look at over here. We add co-workers, groups. We will have a look at it in a bit. So once we are done with the settings, we click Save. If we wanted to, I'll show you in a bit what it looks like when we fill all the projects. When you fill all the details. So basically we will have the project there, and all these need to be filled in. Just to mention, before we move on the attributes of the settings for the helpdesk project, if you are creating a special client project, as in you want to have several clients under a particular project, like priority support, etc., then you would create the projects. You know how to create a new project like separately. So if you are creating a project from scratch, you would go here, create a new project, and then you would go back here, add a new project, and choose the existing project. The difference over there, would be that for default mailbox, which is over here, so now I'm talking about the special project for special clients, let's say priority support. You do not select any mailbox if you want this project to be set as a special client project. Then under mails, domains, and keywords, which is down. Mails, domains, and keywords. Process into this project, all these settings in this section are with or operator, which means that if at least one condition is met, ticket is created. So you would put the keywords for the project and you can add more and more of those. So keyword in this example, if an email received in any help desk mailbox contains a whole string like I'm from company client ABC, ticket will be sorted under this special project or just the company name, for instance. Then under add a mail or domain, incoming emails are scanned for these values from field of the email. So the sender can be anyone with the mailbox ending. So now it would be scanning, for instance, for easy software. So if there was any email that came from Anna@easysoftware.com, it would go under this special project, or Jacob@easysoftware.com. So it will be searching for the domain in the email. So that would be for the special projects. And now I would like to go, let's have a look at the general configuration, because earlier I was just showing you where to fill in where to find the project, how to add the project or the default mailbox. So once we have these projects, so once we have added all the projects that we want to have under our mailbox through add a project, first, of course, creating the matching projects and then adding them under our help desk, we can configure the settings. And to do that, we choose the particular project and click on Edit. So that's one way we can access the help desk to get the project help desk configuration page. Another way to do it would be under, if we access the project itself. So I will just go to our home page. So we can do it either through the help desk or we can do it through the project. So let's look for our we are looking for a help desk project. Looks like our project is hiding. So basically, let's just type it in. And we are looking just for a project. Okay. So once we access our project, so as I said, to get into this configuration, we must go through help desk through the menu more, but we can also do it when we access the project and then we click on settings, and under settings in the settings toolbar, we look for help desk settings. So you can see the pages are pretty much identical. So what can we find in these settings? We have several attributes that we can set over here, such as tracker. So tracker is a new ticket in this project will be created with this tracker. Tracker is a type, it tells us what type of a task are we dealing with. Then an assignee. So new ticket will be of this project will be assigned to this user. And it can be either an individual user or a group. So we can even like have a support team or a particular person. So this is also very useful for those special projects, for the priority support for our clients. So if you have someone who works because you want a particular person to work with the same client, they get to know their application, or they get to know their product, etc. So you can have an individual as an assignee. While if you have then the general projects where all the other tickets go, you can have assignee as a group, and then one of the group members can take it. So then we have automatically updates tickets when they are. So automatic ticket updating, it really pretty much depends on your workflow. So there may be some tickets which are resolved, being kept open. And for such cases, you can set automatic closing according to the status and duration of non-update. In addition to closing the ticket, a follow-up email from a template can be sent automatically. So you can be informing the sender that the ticket has been closed, or ask him about feedback for your support team. So that's something that can be set up over here. Then we have this bit, contractual help desk monthly hours. So this setting should be used only for the special clients. And so those are not, don't use it for the general project, use it for the, as I said, the priority support projects. So where clients have prepaid a certain number of hours of support per month. So then you will see how much they have paid for the monthly, and how much time they have left. Because your support team really, they should be logging time, how much time they have spent on each ticket from this particular client. Then it will be deducted from the contractual help desk monthly hours, and you will see how much time they have remaining. And then if they go over that time, then you can let them know, and you can charge them extra. So then we have the remaining help desk hours, which I just mentioned, aggregated period. So for what time the period, for what period are the hours aggregated before they are reset? And this also means that actually whatever hours are remaining, it just at the end of this period, like your quote, it can be quarterly, it can be monthly. It won't be transferred over, it will be reset to 0. So then we have something that is called SLA settings. SLA is an important metric for the help desk projects, especially for the clients where SLA violation may be sanctioned. So as I mentioned before, the tickets may be created by email or directly from within the system by a client. So it really depends. You know that with Redmine, you can either send us an email to support at easyredmine.com, or in your client zone, you can actually create a support ticket. And both of these, they have a slight nuance in the SLA settings. So you can also copy the SLA settings from a project where you already have it created. So this is something that we don't need to really dive into detail of. Just this tick box which says reset SLA after task is reopened. So when enabled, tickets which were once closed and are reopened by another reply from the client will have SLA counted as if they were new, just to let you know. So it's good to leave this one ticked. I'll show you later where you can find out, more about SLA settings, because there's quite a bit into it. But let's move on in our settings. Let's go into mail settings, the header and footer. Because as you know, the help desk communication is mainly done through the email. So when you work with the ticket, with the task itself, you are basically sending, once you update the task, you are sending an update to the client via email. So you can customize the emails from different help desk projects, which is very useful, especially if you have several products, you have several branding. So you can even like add logos, disclaimers, or anything. And then we have alert settings. So in order to prevent SLA being violated, there is a possibility to use automated alerts, which can notify the involved people about the delayed tickets. Another type of alert watches spend time in project where clients have prepaid a specific amount of hours to support, as we mentioned. So under the alert settings, we have few bits such as monitor support ticket due date. So if this one is enabled, alert will be generated when SLA deadline is nearing. Then we have monitor support ticket spend due time, which watches the spend time of a project with specific prepaid monthly hours, which is for the priority support as we mentioned. Then we have a list of alerts which need to have a recipient send. So those are pre-configured alerts which only need to enter an email address in order for the email to be sent. Then we have list of configured alerts where they are set up, there's no missing parameters. And then we have so that is from this column. So this would be really the settings. I will show you later where you can get back to the settings to remind yourself of each of the attribute, what it means, how to set it up, and what it means if you leave it ticked, filled, unfilled, etc. And right now, because we are already half an hour in the webinar, I would like to move on to ticket processing. So after you are done with these settings, whether you are doing directly in the project or in the help desk, now we can finally move on to the practicalities of using help desk. So we will start, let's just use a simple case on how the ticketing works, and we will look at the email generated tickets. So simply to handle the tickets created by email correctly, we need to check that custom field email to is active. And to do that, we have to go to, so this is another settings that we need to do. We have to go to administration. Under administration, in this right column, we will look for custom fields. to over here, and we will click on okay. So let's actually skip the custom fields and we go let's go into the tickets itself. So when the email is processed by Easy Redmine, so the incoming email that comes to support at your domain .com, and the ticket is created in the project that we have set, then we can go, let's go to the projects. So let's go to our help desk project and we have the task over here. So when we click on tasks, we can see a list of tasks. And we can choose any of these. Tasks. It's important to check that some particular attributes are filled in, such as email to, the sender of the email. That's the sender of the email, which means that when we are creating an update for the help desk ticket, we will be sending an update to this particular email. And when we want to write in a reply to this person, all we need to do, how to update the help desk ticket. We click on update. And we would, when we are creating the update, you would also want your workers to, for instance, log their spend time, how much time they have spent on this update on the ticket. Then you would write here the update, the email, the reply you want to send to the customer, and then we would also click on send an email to a customer. Another way, if you actually don't want to send an email to a customer, but you are, for instance, passing it on to a colleague of yours, you would change the assignee not to client, to a consultant. You can put it as in progress or any other status, and you can make it as a private comment. If you click on private comment, it means that this comment will never go to the to the client, and it won't be included in the emails that will be sent in the future. Because if you don't click on the private comment, then you have a conversation, or you have some conversation with your colleague in the string in the updates on this ticket, and then when you want to send an email to a customer, it would load all these comments as well. So make sure that if you are communicating with another colleague of yours, that you use the private comment ticked over here. And when we save it, and we look at the, we don't really need this, you look at the history of the comments, you can see over here it says private. And now when we want to update, The thing is that you can also set up the signatures within the project for the task, so you don't have to be writing your signature all the time. But what I want to show you is now that we decided we finally are going to send an email to the customer, we will click on that and we will click on save. And this way we'll be brought to the preview where we can choose a mail template. Mail template is a place where you would have your branding for different products, or you could have there also the signatures preset for different people. You can also choose here the mail recipient. You can add someone else in the copy. You can work on the body of the email. You can add some pictures, attachments, etc. And then, as you can see over here, it has the history of the communication with the client. And because the update we have done on the ticket was shown as private, it's not showing over here. That's what we want. And once you are happy, you click on send email. And now it really depends on how you work with the tickets, because some people, like if you already sent an email to client, you could actually close it, because when the client replies, it'll be reopened, or you can just click it to change the status to client, which means that if you don't get any reply in a day or two, you can send an email again to the client, hey, we are waiting to get some more information from you, etc. Or if you close it and the client replies with the same uh, subject of the email, the support ticket will be reopened. If they change the subject of the email, that means that there will be a completely new ticket created. So I mentioned something about the email templates that you can choose from when you are sending the ticket. And to access these email templates, to create new ones or to edit them, we would do that in HelpDesk and all email templates. So we have an example of an email template over here. So you can name it. You would choose which mailbox you choose it from, whether it's a default one or not. You would choose the task status you are using it from, what the subject would be of that reply. You usually want to stick to a number of the ticket or to the subject that the person created it with. And you have here like a body that you can change. Or you can just add a completely new template. I suggest that if you are creating the first template, just follow what's in this demo template that you have over here. You can have as many templates as you want. So as I said, so this piece over here, it says which mailbox will have this template available. Then the task status attribute over here, according to the status, the template will be pre-filled. So depends what status it is on. So if you're updating a ticket that says status, you have already changed it to on client, it'll automatically load this this email template. And then the subject is the subject of the email. Then we have something that is called dynamic tokens and mail body. Just over here. Dynamic tokens can be used to provide a particular ticket information to the client, and in the email they are entered as one of the below. So we actually have the tokens are this. So you can use any of these, copy these tokens just from the percentage mark to the percentage mark, and you can use them in the mail body. So just to show how it would work, if you wanted to change it, and we'll, for instance, say hello, user first name, your ticket, we can put task subject, was received on or received on, then you can put a date, and with assigned number, and you can put a ticket number, which would be the task ID. So this way you can write the email and you have these tokens that will be modified. So you don't have to be typing it in manually. It will always pre-fill itself. As you can see over here, you have the task signature, user signature, excuse me, which is the assignee of the ticket. So the person who is assignee of the ticket, when the reply to the client is being created, their signature will be added there. To add a corporate signature into the outgoing emails, you use this token, which is the user signature, and it will be the HTML signature for the current user who is updating the ticket. And if you want to set up the signature, it can be done on your email, on your on your profile, under edit, and over here you have mail signature. Oof. Where did we go? So here you would under your profile is where you set up the email signature for each user. There's still some help desk settings that we should have a look at. So this was the settings for the email. This was how we update the ticket. And there's some more settings to have a look at, which is on the help desk and help desk settings. And on the help desk settings, we have a few more settings. So these settings, such as sender, which email is listed from the ticket it's replied on, then this is part of like a workflow. If the person, if the client replies to you, then you can the ticket will be changed. The status of the ticket can be changed. And then these are the last settings that you need to go through. So I think we have gone through quite a lot today. So we saw how to create a new project, how to add a new or existing project under our help desk, how to set up the mailboxes under the project, how to work with the ticket, and we had a look look at quite a few settings of the help desk. So now I would like to refer you actually to our knowledge base or our technical documentation. So when you go to our website and you scroll down, over here you click on knowledge base. And then you look up help desk. You can find here what we are talking about. But generally the main pieces we covered are over here. So you will see here the settings a bit more in detail, and especially this is a place where I would like to send you for the SLA settings, because here they are, as you can see, they are explained in great detail, like every bit for the SLA setting. So that would be for the settings. And then also you can see that when you access your help desk, you actually have a help desk dashboard, which helps you to keep an eye on everything that is happening within your support team and within your help desk, as in how many tickets are unassigned that need to be assigned, how many tickets are open, if you have any tickets that have violated the SLA, how many tickets are solved. New tickets pool is a place where your support team members can be picking up tickets that are not assigned yet. Then you can also see how many tickets each member of your support team have assigned to them, how many they are open, how many they are working on. You also have some statistics over here. So you have some trends where you are comparing it to the previous period. And just to finish our webinar, I would like to show you our pricing page, because as you probably know, when you go to our pricing page, these are our basic plans, the prices. They don't actually include a help desk. So if you wish to purchase help desk, it's a extension plugin that you have to buy on top. And this help desk bundler includes help desk and alerts. If you are already our existing client, then you can simply log into your client zone and you can purchase it there as well, or simply contact the account manager who is in charge of your account in Easy Software. So thank you so much for your attention today. I think it was quite a lot of technical information. So please check our technical documentation, or simply get in touch with our support team through our chat, or if you need help actually setting up the easy Redmine and the whole help desk for you, the fastest way to do it is to use our implementation services, where my colleagues will help you to get everything up and running in no time, to get it tailored to your needs. So check on the services, check our implementation. So thank you so much for your attention, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you at our future webinars. Next week, we are running a webinar where we'll be presenting what's new in Easy Redmine. So thank you and good luck with your project.